Hey there. Welcome back to the podcast once again. You're tuning in again. You are great if you're listening to this. You are so good. I'm going to treat you out to dinner one day. Whoever's listening to this, just DM me, be like, hey, I've been listening to the podcast, and, I'll take you out wherever you want to go. Applebee's, El Diablo, Taco Bell, or, hey, let's get bougie with it. Brio. Ooh, Cheesecake Factory. Hit me up, all right? Because I just recently gave out a gift card, shout out to Zoe, for the 500 subscriber, and I want people who show support to get something back, I want to show the love back to them. So I want to show the love back to you, hopefully when you tune into these and you listen to the whole thing. But, everybody, we got a crazy episode for you guys today. It's a fun one. It is a very interesting one because our guest today has come from a far land and he broke a record. He broke a record, everybody. Our guest came all the way from Virginia, about a 5-hour drive. The commitment. Look what this show has done. It's brought people together. I've gotten calls from Ethiopia. People are like, we need to come on the show, Ethan. I got calls from Mars. Aliens from Mars. Crazy. They're planning their spaceships and they're ready to break these records, man. But again, this is a very cool episode we had today for everybody. A lot of you who tune in know him, and we're gonna dive deep and get to know a little bit about our guest here. Everybody, please welcome the legendary, the man himself, Jeff Lee. Drum roll. All right. Jeff is in the house, everybody. He's in the studio.
Hey, everybody.
Dude, how do you feel right now, man? Podcast, like, have you ever done anything like this before?
Nah, this is the first time, so this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, dude.
But like I text you, like I've always wanted to do a podcast, so this is kind of like me just
What podcasts do you listen to? Anything you can rattle off real quick? Like, what's your taste?
A lot of like churches.
Sure.
Podcasts and just like people just talking about the gospel is just pretty much in that territory of podcasts.
Like a little gospel podcast and stuff. Yeah. And again, what goes back to Mr. Pastor Carlos. I think they're trying to get one going over there at Ignite the Flame Church, and he will be hopping on soon. As soon as we get this puppy out and released, I think his will be coming up soon. So, Pastor Carlos, Pastor Carlos will be hopping on soon. So we're gonna get real religious with everyone here. Yeah. So stay open-minded, y'all. Stay open-minded. So Jeff, again, you came here from all the way from Virginia. Where from Virginia? Where are you from in Virginia?
Colonial Heights, Virginia.
Colonial Heights, Virginia. And was I correct? 5 hours you drove?
It was 4.5.
4.5.
Because I got a heavy foot. So it was 4.5. It was supposed to be 5, but I got here like 4.5.
What time did you leave, man?
We left at
You said we? Wait, hang on. Oh, so you said your brother's with you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Nice. And then we left at, I want to say like 10 in the morning.
Okay.
10 in the morning we left.
Okay. So I'm glad you had company then, because at first I was like, oh, he's gonna be alone on the car ride.
I honestly prefer like a solo trip. But like.
Why so? I'm curious. Why so? Are you like the peace and quiet? Is that what's?
Yeah, the peace and quiet, and because sometimes it'd be awkward. You're trying to entertain your guests, even if you drove so many times, and you've done so many trips. Because I've done a lot of trips with Alan, but I was just like, nah, I like solo trips, man, because you can just sit there and chill. And
is he a little brother, older brother?
He's a younger brother.
Younger brother. How many more? How many years?
Alan is 25, I think.
25. Oh, okay.
Because I'm 30.
Oh, right, you're 30. Yeah. This guy, he's youthful. Look at him though. Yeah. None of y'all would have guessed this man was 30. I remember the first time I saw him, he's like, no, he's just like he's 23, just like me. Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm 30.
But okay, so you made the drive 4.5. But you have a lot of friends here in Delaware. That's why you make that drive back and forth. How often do you make that drive though, man?
Man, it was one summer where I was literally here like every other weekend.
My God. Yeah. So has it gotten to the point for you where you just don't feel it anymore? Or it's just like, or it's just on and off, I guess, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's on and off. But, I mean, like, even the last time I came for the Sports Fest, I was thinking, like, dang, when's the next time I'm going to be able to come up here? Because, I mean, they're such a cool group.
You make the most of it. Yeah, no, seriously, man.
Yeah, they're a really good group.
So for the Sports Fest, though, that was In Jersey? Was it not? Was that a little farther? Was that a little farther for you, or
honestly,
closer?
Like
same.
Where
distance?
Virginia is at is actually the same different distance.
Okay.
So you just go like a different route, but it's the same distance.
Colonial Heights. So is that like farmland area, or is it more like there's a Starbucks here, McDonald's there?
Yeah, Starbucks there, McDonald's
that
there.
Type of area?
Yeah,
okay.
so it's a pretty cool area. It's very like low key.
I
There's
gotcha.
nothing going on like it's crazy.
Are you from? You're from there or Delaware? Like so, because what's the history where you're from?
I'm from Colonial Heights, Virginia. But I was born in Petersburg. Just kind of grew up in the Colonial Heights area because Petersburg is like not too far from Colonial Heights.
Okay, I gotcha. So let's I'll let you take the floor real quick. What's a little bit about yourself? What's your favorite color? Tell the people who you are. Who is Jeff Lee?
So guys, let me look at the camera. So I go to Liberty University, as you guys see. I'm in school for youth pastor, but I'm also considering doing business. Pretty much single guy.
Hit him up. Hit him up, ladies.
Come on, ladies. You see the face. But anyway, single guy. Go to Liberty. Just trying to get that degree. But favorite color is blue.
Hey, blue. Yeah, blue for me too. Yeah,
But I have to say, like, I'm a big people person, passionate about people, love people. So kind of when I met this guy Ethan, met him and we just clicked.
Connected right away, man.
Yeah,
I knew. Sometimes you can tell, like, when you look at someone, you're like, oh yeah, we're about to have a fun time.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. I saw that with you, man.
Yeah, I saw it with you and also Caleb Vaughn. He's gonna be hopping on soon. Hope to have him on, sometime in the next couple months. But because we met through the GSBC crew. Good Shepherd Baptist Church, those guys. How did you meet them? How did you meet, like, okay, when I say everybody for the past episodes, Gilbert, Laura, Jella, and on them, that crew right there. And if you go on my channel, you will see me doing vlogs with them, the retreats and the vlogs. Jeff is friends with them. And give me a little backstory on them. Like, how did you meet them and what was the connection?
So the connection was we had a youth camp back in my church in Virginia.
Okay.
And then we kind of just, just with you, we just clicked. And they were really cool people. And then kind of when you have these camps, the beauty of these camps, man, you just have you kind of let yourself out because you shed some tears, you open up your heart.
Sure.
And then, man, it just took over. I just kind of we had that camp and I got their contact information. And
what year was this?
That's a very good question because I don't remember. I think it was 2018.
2018. Okay, so not too crazy far away.
Not too long ago.
It's family, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's really it just kind of grew. They became my family a little bit because I was trying to find my community, my Filipino community and stuff, and for years because I was always just kind of hanging out with the people at school, which was fine, hanging out with my family, but I never just had this core crew that was Filipino, that's like relate to me. And then also what's cool is they're all very strong in their faith and very religious. I wasn't raised in that type of environment, and it's cool to now have that be part of my life a little bit. And again, just shout out to them. Shout out to them,
Big shout out. Love you guys.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to the crew. They're gonna love this episode. Yeah, they're gonna love this.
Because they're talking so good about them.
Yeah, but before we move on, I have some chicken empanadas for Jeff here. And this is a quick little side note for Glenn Del Manio. All right. Now, people will say it's a little unfair because I didn't bring the beef ones. But then there's been this little debate between chicken empanada and beef empanadas from Red Ribbon. Jeff has had a few bites of the chicken empanada. Fill us in on what's your thoughts. Be real with me. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you like it, let's rub it in Glenn's face.
So Glenn, I want you to look me in the eyes when I say this, but this is delicious. This one right here was for you. But I'm gonna destroy it. It's gonna be mine.
Yeah, he's gonna mess that up because my man's is hungry here again. Yeah, he had a long drive ahead of him. Yeah. So when did you sign up for college?
So I did. Liberty is a pretty cool story. So last year during COVID, sitting there, world was at a craziness. So I thought I was like literally gonna be gone tomorrow, and I was like, you know what? One of the things I've always wanted to do is jump into the pastor, go to school for being a pastor. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I got money. Horizon's great. Might as well go ahead, go for it. So yeah, that's why I just did it. And then before then, it was a couple years ago where I was like, I really want to go to school. I've been praying about it, asking God about it. And then I was like, well, money ain't really good. And then, before I know it, I'm at LU, the school I've always wanted to go to. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because I like this topic a lot. So when you graduated high school, you didn't go to college at all. What was your thought process? Like, were you trying to, or it just wasn't on the agenda? Because I didn't go. Yeah. Still currently not. It's on the plans of maybe later on, you know, because again, I always tell people college is something you can do whenever, you know. It's not like something you have to do right away, but it just wasn't on my to-do list at the time. But for you, when you graduated high school, what was your thought process? You were just like, what did you get into right away? Did you just get into working?
So I had the same thought process as you. I wasn't ready. I did John Tyler, which is like a community college down in Virginia.
Sure.
So I did that, and I was like, I really wasn't feeling that. So
how many years did you do it for? Or
I didn't do it for any years. I did like one class, and I was like, I'm out.
Just wasn't feeling it.
I walked out, and I didn't ever come back. So
yeah.
And then I had other times where I went to college. I thought I wanted to go, and then I was just like, nah.
You go through phases. There's weird phases. Because even for me, I'll find myself at an application portal on my laptop, and I'm like, And then I see the prices and tuition. And I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, the biggest turnoff was if college was free, I would have been graduated by now. You shitting me? But
yeah,
it's just kind of like, again, for me, the tuition. And people will be like, but yeah, you can just get loans and FAFSA. But I'm like, I don't want to stress about all that financial stuff. You know, I mean, I guess it's a very small thing, but you know, it was just the biggest turnoff for me. But so when you graduated, what was your plan? What did you do? And what did you want to do at the time when you graduated? Yeah.
When I graduated, honestly, I was such a young knucklehead. Like, I just was like, I'm going to work and that's it. You know, work, find a job, work, and keep it moving.
Make that money. Make that, yeah.
And I didn't really think about, you know, where I wanted to be and stuff like that. So I just kind of, here's a job. They pay good. Let's go there. And you know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where, that's why I'm kind of, like, to be real, like, I am blessed to be where I'm at now because to see that Jeff at that age and like immature Jeff, and now I'm in school, and even though I think like I'm 30 and I'm in college, there's probably a lot of people that's straight out of high school. I'm like, well, now I know because I've worked and experienced those things. Now I'm like 100% sure this is where I want to be.
Love that. And again, so I think you're the perfect example too for, I don't know, who a lot of people who are in the situation right now, who, you know, are graduating high school and don't know what to do. Again, this is my opinion, and also, you know, you went that route too. I just one thing I want to tell people is, like, I feel like if you don't have it figured out by the time you graduate high school, don't stress it. You know, that's what I told my cousins, because a lot of them are freaking out and their parents are forcing them to do stuff. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying what I did was the perfect route, but I'm okay, you know, and I'm doing what I love. Just stay occupied. Don't be a bum, you know. That's what I tell people. Just don't be like on your ass, like playing video games, eating chips all day.
Exactly.
Work.
Do something.
Do something. Stay productive. You know, if you're not gonna go to school, that's fine. Just stay productive. Do something you love. And you know, for me, when I graduated high school, I wanted to get in acting and stuff. So part of me was like, my thought process the whole time was like, do I really need college for acting? I don't think I really need to. The entertainment business. And then again, I went through the phases. I tried applying for one acting school. There's a pretty funny story. It was like University of the Arts in Philadelphia. I applied for it, had an audition. I auditioned for literally the head of the school. It was pretty intense. And then he loved me. Everything was great. He gave me a scholarship. I got in the mail of $12,000, but the tuition was $64,000. And I was like, $12,000 is great, but compared to the $64,000, like, it didn't really. It's nothing, man. It's nothing. And again, tuition was always the big turnoff for me. And I was lucky to have my parents. You know, I lived in a household where they were open-minded, and my parents didn't go to college, so they were just kind of like. Well, I believe my mom did for, I think, she got an associate's in cooking or something, back in the Philippines, but it just wasn't, you know, forced on them. So, you know, they were raised for that, so they passed it over to me. But I guess did you live in a household or that, you know, was like, why aren't you going to college and stuff like that? Or was it just kind of like, you're doing your thing, Jeff? You're doing your thing.
Well, it was kind of, my dad never went to college.
Okay.
But my mom did go to college. But they were never like, they just wanted us to do something. Like, whether it's the military or college, or they just wanted us to do something.
Sure, yeah. I like that. Do something. Again, that's the thing. Stay productive.
Exactly, afterwards. Which was good, and I didn't have to worry about that pressure. So that's why when I did go to John Tyler right after high school, I was able to kind of just, this isn't for me type of ordeal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, which was good. I like that they wasn't like college or
exactly. Now you're doing your thing. Exactly. Now you're doing your thing, and you're in a good place, which is great. You're in a good place. But kind of to rewind a little bit, after that college talk. Again, we did meet again at Buongiorno Retreat. I'm curious because I mean there was a good amount of people there that met me for the first time. What was your first impression when you see my silly ass walking out with the sign, the glasses? Because Jeff, I think John, Caleb, there's a handful of people there that I think didn't know me, and then that first night. Like, what was your? I'm just curious, not to make it about me, everybody, but when you saw me walk out, because when Pastor Carlos asked me, I think a few weeks beforehand, we want you to do a show, Ethan, to break the ice a little bit the first night. And I was like, okay, sure. I didn't know what to do. He basically said do stand up. I've never done stand up before, so I was trying to make it stand up-y, but also just trying to make it fun. I was just winging it, But when I walked out there, fake glasses, sign, blazer, what was your take? Like, who is this guy? What a fool. what was going through your mind, man?
Man, it was like, this dude looks like a fool, but I was like, I'm one of those people, man, like, I love all kinds of people. It doesn't matter if you're like a sports person or you're a nerd person. Like, I love all kinds of people.
Exactly.
And since I don't experience your type of person too much, I was sitting there like, yo, this is going to be a pretty sweet retreat. Like, I'm ready to beat this dude.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad that gave it off. Yeah, that little that energy off. Yeah, okay.
So when I saw Ethan, I was just like, yo, this dude. Okay. Like,
I love that, man. Yeah, because again, when I saw you guys, again, I think meeting, you give kind of like a rush meeting new people a little bit.
Yeah, kind of do, because you like, and then shout out to Destination Church back at home. Like, one of the pastors told me, like, everybody has a story, and every story matters to God. And so when I saw Ethan, I was like, I want to know his story. I want to know, like, and then that's what everybody at GSBC, shout out to GSBC one more time. But like, when I met like everybody at GSBC EU, I'm just like, I want to, what they love, what breaks their heart. And I just want to get to know people. And I think that's just such a beauty of people. And then this is one of the topics I do want to talk about, is this whole race thing. It just blows my mind on how, you meet somebody, either they look like you or they look like somebody else, and they got a story to tell, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's so cool to meet you and you be like an entertainer. I'm just like, man, I really want to get to know people.
Yeah.
And shout out one more time to Gilbert Wong.
Yes, sir.
I remember sitting there when we did the pit with the fire. And we was over there playing volleyball at the retreat, and I was talking to Gilbert. I was like, man, it's cool to be here with majority Filipino people. And then everybody's different. There's nobody that's the same just because you all look the same. Like, is nobody the same.
It's the coolest thing ever, in my opinion. I always found it to be such an evil and like sick thing that people out there, to touch on the race thing a little bit, not to get too deep, but just kind of like when people see other races, they're so close-minded to where they're like, I don't want to talk to that person because of the color of their skin, blah blah blah. I think what a crazy thing on this earth, man, that we all are like from different backgrounds, and let's share each other's stories, because again, I like what you said, we all have a story, and let's get to know each other. Let's create, let's team up and just show the world our gift, that God gave us, and that's something I'm a big advocate of, is like embrace who you are and then share that with others, again, I think I've mentioned a couple times on the pod, but a quote that and I never say it correctly, but a quote that I think Cisco said, found for me one time, is like, in a way it was worded, don't be selfish and like hold back who you are, like, because it's almost selfish, like, if it comes off the right way, if I'm saying this, like, don't be like, it comes off selfish if you're kind of not expressing yourself, like, share that gift with other people. Because again, when I see these new faces like at the retreat and stuff, my mission is, like, if anything, I want to talk to you guys first. Like when we played the card game, like, meeting you and Caleb and then JC and Jana, I was getting a rush, man. It's like a high a little bit. I'm like, this is great. Like, this is what I go to these retreats for. It's like meeting new people and just seeing what their experiences are, and getting to know them, man. Yeah.
It's so cool. And I thought the same way when I was sitting there, we was playing cards, and I was just like,
man,
this is cool. Like, I'm meeting some new people, and it's so mind-blowing.
And it's the best feeling when, it does, it's because it's one thing looking at someone being like, I'm going to vibe with them, but then when you actually do, and then like, you're like, it's working. Yes. Like, here we go. Like, this person is cool.
It's so mind-blowing.
Because for me, it's just simple. I'd like to hang out with people and talk to people who are just good at heart. I don't care anything else, like what you look like, what else, as long as you're not some sort of murderer or whatever, overall, if you're just good at heart, you have a good sense of humor, like let's hang, let's have a good time.
Click. Yeah.
Just click, man. That's all it is. Crazy. Yeah. But again, man, the retreat was super fun. What was your favorite part of the retreat? Anything that stuck out to you?
I mean, honestly, like the whole retreat was really good. Like I still think about it to this day. I'm like, dang, that was such a moving retreat.
Yeah, man.
But I would have to say karaoke night. Night was so fun.
Karaoke night.
We gonna shout you out again, Pastor Carlos. He brought it. Like the dude brought it.
In the video, I still can't get over just the way he was like, turn that up. And then Pastor Carlos sang I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys, and
that song is so clutch.
Dude, it is. It is, so man.
Clutch.
My jaw just dropped because I did not expect it. Because I remember I was like joking with him. First, like, go up there. And he seemed a little shy at first. He was like, I don't know. But when he stood up, I was just like, yes, this is what we're here for. Like, come on. It's funny
because I had that same conversation with him. Like, I went to him. He was sitting in the back on the right. Yeah. I was like, Carlos, you want to go up there and sing real quick? Like, we're all doing it. Let's do it. You should do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah. He got that defensive sat back position. I was like, yeah, he probably ain't going to do it. And then before you know it, I'm sitting over there setting up songs. And Carlos come up and I'm just like, yes.
I think it was what helped out was him seeing just how much fun we were having, and then again, that's not. There's nothing to be what I tell people. Nothing to be in those type of environments. Like we're all just friends, having a good time. There's nothing to be nervous about. Just let loose. Let loose. We're just here to have fun, and I love it when people who are originally like I don't know, when they open up. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
like
because I was mind blown too when I saw him get up there. I was like, yes.
Would you consider yourself a extrovert? You'd say, or introvert?
I'm a good mix of both.
You're a good mix of both.
Because I have my introvert moments when I'm just like, don't bother me, I want to chill. And then I have moments where, but it's usually when the people aspect come in. So when people are around me, I'm gonna be out in the open, hanging out with people. But definitely after work and it's just me, I'm kind of like, I just want to chill.
No, I will say I think one thing I want to put out there too, and I'm sure you could agree with, is I think you can always appreciate a good time alone in the house. I love talking to people. I'm getting my health bar is going up right now just talking to you. And then afterwards we're going to this party, and I know I'm gonna get a rush off of that, but I've been busy like the past few hours, man. Like last night we were at another party, we're hanging out with everybody, and then I woke up, I had to go to a meeting to meet this restaurant owner about a video, and then after that I went for a run and I get my oil change in my car. I think after doing so many back-to-back things, and I'm sure for you, after doing this driving and stuff, like when you go home, I think nothing feels better than laying on your bed, bro.
Exactly. And just like soaking your next past week or whatever couple days
soak it in. And sometimes I'm just like staring at the ceiling, listening to music. I'm like, this is good.
This is good.
I'm blessed to be sitting in this bed right now, comfortable. Exactly. Do you have because in those moments when I do that, I use it as like a form of meditation a little bit, kind of like prayer too, in a way. Do you give yourself a lot of like prayer time, meditation time to clear the head? Like, what's your process on that when you do that?
So I'm gonna be honest, like my prayer time is not as great, but I do.
Mine neither. Yours is probably better than mine. I'll say that much. Yeah.
I do tend to meditate a lot because I like to be in my thoughts. Because I'm one of those people, I gotta slow down sometimes to process things, like what I did or whatever I said, because I'm one of those people, like since I'm such a big people person, I try to filter what I say to friends. So if I ever definitely in a bad time, like if I say something crazy to a friend, I'm just like, that's my time to kind of process, like, why did I say that, or how can I be better, how can I better my heart? And then that's what scriptures are for, because a lot of scriptures, what you say out your tongue does like either hurt or build up people around you. So a lot of the times when I'm after work or whatever, or after hanging out with friends and I have that time to be quiet, that's my time to kind of meditate and kind of suck in, what did I say? What did I do? What did I not do?
Self-reflections is huge.
It really is, because it helps you build your character. Yeah. So I spend a lot of and that's like every day. It's not like
man. No, same for me. Every day, I think giving yourself those couple minutes. Look, it doesn't even have to be super long.
Yeah.
If you give yourself 10 minutes in the day just to kind of like sit back and think about the day, even the positive, not even just have to be negatives when you meditate. Like for me, like if you can just sit back and appreciate, hey, wow, what was positive about my day today, and what was negative, and how can I fix that the next time?
For sure.
I think about that stuff all the time, and that is my form of also like, because I'm gonna segue into it in a second, like prayer a little bit, you know, because for me, the way I do prayers, I don't think is the more traditional way. When I do my meditation, what I think is cool is, I think Pastor Carlos said it, but that's why I liked hanging out with this crew, because they woke my mind up a little bit to how, you know, you can have how your faith can be with God and stuff like that. And something someone said, I think it was Pastor Carlos, is like, or maybe it was Glenn too. It's just you can have a casual conversation with God. Like, it doesn't have to be like this holy, like, oh, like, hey, like big words or something.
It really is a relationship.
It can be like this, man.
Yeah.
It can be we're talking casual. It can be like that. And for me, again, when I do these meditations, it's just, again, me in my alone time. I'll either listen to music or I won't, and I'll be somewhere in nature, or, you know, somewhere peaceful in the house. And Again, it's not your traditional way of praying, but for me, again, I'll just sit there, and then I'll just like have a conversation with him in my head, like just say, hey, can you help me out with this, that? I know I haven't, or I'll even tell him like, hey, I know I haven't been speaking to you in a while, which goes back to kind of like, you know, when people talk about the topic of we only pray when we need him, and I do want to avoid that more. I wish I could just do it to do it, but I always kind of find myself doing it when I need something, you know. But I do want to fix that a little bit. But for you, do you find yourself ever praying just to pray, or is it always kind of like whenever you need something? Yeah.
It's a more of like, sometimes when I need something, but then I try to do it in like prayer, like, especially and thanks. Thanks is a good one.
That one I actually do a lot. Yeah.
Where you be like, well, I'm grateful for my friends. They're my friends for a reason. Or I'm grateful for my church. Or I'm grateful for my school. Just things like that. I try to do more and more often. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna share this little story. There's a woman in my church that I'm not too fond of, that we bump heads, but now I've recently just opened my heart. And then I remember one of my friends, which is the pastor of our church, he was like, well, she's in a hospital dealing with these health complications. And for a second, I was like, I really don't want to pray. But then once I prayed, and the powerful thing about prayer, I start praying for her. And then for the rest of the day, I was just like, okay, I wonder if she's okay. Yeah. Like, prayer really does. It's a powerful tool. Yeah.
It's powerful, man. Yeah.
So even now, I caught myself this morning. I was like, on the way here, I was like, I wonder if Monty's doing okay, which definitely changed my perspective from when somebody first asked me to pray for her. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Right, yeah.
And then it's just really
because you just kind of find yourself thinking about it a little bit, and it's just kind of like, and then you take advantage of that moment, just kind of like, you know, you have it in your thoughts,
and then God opens your heart towards that person.
Yeah,
like, I mean, like when you pray for people, it's such a powerful thing. Like
it's huge, man. Yeah, it's huge. Really the more I just kind of, you know, hang out with the crew and then go to their small groups, it's more food for the brain, you know, food for thought and stuff. I was like, wow, I'm learning more. Because so I'll get into my side. I want to ask you first though. So again, you're a man of faith. When did it hit you? The moment you were like, God, man, yeah. What was that God moment for you? When you kind of, you know, I guess the terms were saved, or I don't know what it. Yeah, when you were saved. Yeah. What was that moment for you? And what was that like? And take us through the process. I'm curious.
So it was a summer. I want to say about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Where me and this girl that was a coworker, and then actually no, the dude was a coworker, and then the girl kind of was a friend that goes to the church too, which is Swift Creek Baptist in Colonial Heights, Virginia. We were go to like a bar, and there's a place where you just throw darts and play pool. So one time we was walking, and then I don't know, I was just walking around, and I just saw people, you know, drinking, you know, just having a good time. And then it's just like I got like a new vision all of a sudden. Like I just start seeing people sin, and the more important part, I saw them myself. So I remember like getting home that night after we had a good time, because we had a good time. And I remember crying out to God, just like making a prayer. And this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
And I had to be at service at like like 9 or something. So I was up just like praying hard. I was like, well, if this is where you want me to be, like show me a sign. Even though I said that, and I was like, I think he already showed me one. So, but when you experience something like that, my head was out of whack. So I remember going to church, and I talked to Drew, and I was just like, man, I just had this crazy revelation. Let's talk about it. And then I had the whole group, just people pray for me. And then it was that moment that I just saw that the world is broken and lost.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a very private moment for you, wasn't it? Kind of with other people. Wow, yeah. Okay.
Because even when I felt it, I was like, you know, it wasn't like somebody was like talking in my ear about it. Like, you know, you got to follow Jesus, you got to follow Jesus. It's kind of one of those things where I've heard the message about the God and stuff, and then I received it on my own.
Yeah.
On my own, but it was God's plan the whole time to have me with Him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then even now, I'm gonna say my life ain't perfect. I'm still a sinner. It's just that I accepted the grace of Christ that I could just live freely in His word. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Before that big moment, though, did you like, what was your relationship with God like before that? Was it just very casual, or did you not really have a relationship at all, or did it, again, was that moment just kind of like the moment where you were like, no, this is my relationship now with Him?
Yeah, kind of was like, it was just my relationship now with Him, because even before when we
were you exposed? Sorry, were you exposed in the family? Was your family very religious or stuff like that, or was this just this was a Jeff Lee journey?
Okay, yeah. So we kind of we went to church for a little bit, and then we stopped going for a while, and then, you know, so there never really wasn't any God conversations in my parents' house. So that's why, and then it's just crazy how God works. I had an ex-girlfriend. She was like, I'm going to this church. Shout out again to Destination Church. So that's where I started going to church, and then I got more and more curious. And then that's when I stopped, and then kind of to go back on how I got to Swift Creek, and then eventually gave my life to Christ. So I was working at Starbucks. And then I met, because like I said, I'm a people person. I don't care what color you look like. I love people in general. So Drew, which is the guy I told you that, you know, that's how we met, GSBC. So Drew was in there, and then his wife was in there, Eunice. They kind of invited me to play Ultimate Frisbee, and I'm such a competitor, so I was like, yeah, I'm down, let's go. And then, you know, I saw them Sunday, and then they was just different. So they, you know, they were praying for the competition after the game was over. They were loving, you know, they was very welcoming. So I was like, these people are different. So that's when I got into their church, was Swift Creek Baptist Church, and I kind of
you like their energy. It really reeled you in. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then they had a good young adult group there, so I kind of just plugged into them, and then before you know it, and then that's when I gave my life to Christ. Then, I mean, it was just so cool people, and I was like, why are they so different? And then God was like, because they have the power of the Holy Spirit that's in them. So and now I'm here.
So your journey, I mean, what do you think? What would you the span of your journey? Would you say in years, months, or just kind of like when you kind of, I don't know? Well, okay, actually going back to the big moment, you know, where you had that private moment. Was there a build up to that, like where you were still kind of having like back and forth, like, ooh, I don't know if I want to accept him into my life and stuff like that? And I'm asking this because I'm gonna get into mine in a second. But you know, were you just having some back and forth, like unsureness, and then that moment was it, or what was the time span of where you were questioning it to where it happened that one night? I'm just curious.
I was definitely like back and forth, up and down, like left and right, whatever you want to call it. So I was like, do I really want to do this? Kind of want to do my own thing. But then, like I said, like it hit me. But it was like, definitely one of those things where, I don't know about this.
Sure.
But then there was days where I like, I maybe could do it. And, but it was.
But then it just clicked in. Came in. Because what I'll say is, and I do want to get your take, you know, a little bit. But, you know, for me, I wasn't raised into, you know, I mean, my parents would go to the Catholic church. We were Catholic. We would go to the church and stuff like that. And it was very routine-y stuff, you know, at Catholic church. Again, this isn't to, again, stay open-minded, everybody. I'm just my take on them, not to trash talk anything. But, you know, when I go to the churches back in the ones I used to go to, there was something just kind of, I wasn't feeling anything, you know, there just wasn't a connection. And even with the people outside of it who, you know, were going to my churches, there was no connection. And I didn't vibe with how everything was going, you know, and nothing just clicked in me, you know. But what I'll say is, you know, when they had me at the first retreat, I kept telling Gilbert, man, I'm like, dude, I don't really have a crazy relationship with God. Like, I don't know if I should go to this retreat. Because to me, when he said, it's a church retreat, I thought this whole time, like, we're going to be sitting in a circle, like 24/7 all day. Like, amen, amen, God this, God that. And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, that'd be too much for me. Like, we're going to have to read the Bible all day. He's like, dude, it's not that. He was like, we'll do that for like an hour. And then the rest is just like activities. I'm like, okay. And I was scared because I was like, oh man, he's going to read him reeling me into it and stuff like that, you know. But then, you know, when I go there, you know, it opened my mind a little bit, because I'm seeing that people can really have their own way of worship, and it's really your relationship with God. And again, I haven't had that moment yet. What I tell everybody, I haven't had that moment that you had, with that private moment where it's just kind of like, yeah, like I've been saved, or, this is my moment, God, like, get in touch with me. Because I'm still in this limbo of, I still need more answers, Again, I just met everyone last year. Again, I wasn't raised into this stuff. And it's just kind of like, for me, I'm waiting for that moment. And I hope people can understand that. That's why this will be a cool episode to kind of get that out there, where it's just kind of like, I think I just need more time. And does that make sense to you? Like, a lot of people just need more time to it.
It makes perfect sense, because
because it's a crazy concept to me,
And a lot of people think religion, and I'm also not trying to bash any religion.
Yeah.
Like, it's like routine, but when Christ, it's a relationship. So it's something that like you can't have people like, oh, you got to do it. This is one of those things where you got to have your own breakthrough moment.
Yes.
So it's got to be you and God.
Yeah.
Talking it out, you pouring it out.
It's your story. The only thing is the people around you can try to guide you, which I noticed, exactly. Which again, I've noticed from my friends over there, and all the guys who at the retreat when they were when you guys were doing the worship. But I remember in the moment, like, I'll dive into this a little bit. When you guys were, when we did our worship sessions at the second retreat, I will say, to open up a little bit, it was a little intimidating. I will say, it was just a little new to me and Cisco. I'll speak for us both, because me and him talked about it afterwards. It just was, I've never seen it before, just how it can affect people, the power of God and stuff like that. And it was one again, I'm an extrovert, I'm very out loud, but I was in the back, just kind of observing. I was like, this is different, and I think I just need to do more of that to understand it more. But to me, like, it was just kind of like, but it was just, and again, intimidating. But when you were there, you've seen stuff like that before, or you were just, again, you were in the moment, God was there with you, and you were just appreciating it.
Yeah, you get used to it. But yeah, I was in the same boat as you. You see people worshiping, and you're like, what is
that? Yeah. And again, for me, it's just, again, everyone has their own way of worship. It's fine. But I think it's just seeing everyone in the tears, and then, the body movement, the body language. It kind of brought me like, oh wow, what's going on here, which is, and I think it's a good message to get out there, where again, you can all have your own ways of doing it. I think for me, it's just more, it's very subtle, again, my meditation, or talking about it like this, I like just talking about God, and then, again, it's on my journey to faith and stuff like that, and people like you and then the others can maybe help guide me that way, but I don't think the time is yet. I think I want to learn more,
Yeah. And I was kind of the same way. Like, I rather have my private, like, intimate moments where I'm crying and stuff. And so when I gave my life to Christ, and then I experienced these, it's kind of like when you're in that moment, you cry. It doesn't matter who you're with or who you're around, you cry. And then, like you said, everybody do have their own way of worshiping, which is such a beautiful thing to hear, because it's such a true thing to hear.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you hear Christians all the time. Like, some people, that's why you get people like elevation worship that like to sing in worship. Or there's people like me, I like to just talk that one-on-one and worship that way. So it's just different ways people worship. So that's definitely a true thing. Yeah,
because again, man, just kind of those one-on-ones just with God. I think that's where I feel most like, yeah, this is cool, man. Like, and I've harnessed that more hanging out with everybody, because it's just, again, it's opened that door in my brain, because before I was just kind of like, whatever. I remember, like, it's just kind of the way I was raised into it. My Nana, she signed me and my cousin up for Sunday school without even, like, talking to us about it. And like, God and religion was always just kind of like this annoying thing to me. I'll be honest. It was just kind of like, what? Like, why did you sign us for Sunday school? We're going to go to church. And then, like, it wasn't just like this cool relationship you had. Again, routine at the church I went to, not to bash again, but, it just kind of felt like, at those churches, here's how you're supposed to worship. Everyone has to do it like this. But it's like, no, like, I like that one-on-one, man. It's cool. It's cool, yeah.
And then even I thought, like, when we first talked about our retreat, I was like, retreat? Like, are we just going to sit there and sing Kumbaya and read the Bible?
Right, yeah.
I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But then, when people broke it down for me, it's like, we're going to have times where we got to have that one-on-one with God. But it's also going to be mostly, like, activities and learning about things. So we learn about missions, and the retreat I did with Good Shepherd Baptist Church.
Yeah.
we learned about missions, so we got a chance to do that. I mean, and then we had fun. We was able to play football, basketball. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where, yes, relationship, and there are some things you should have a heart to want to do, like prayer, like reading your word. Those things should be a heart that you want to do, not like, oh, you got to do it. You know,
exactly.
Wanna
that was the one thing I learned. You know, again, hearing Pastor Carlos talk, you know, I love it when the guy talks. You know,
yeah, he did a good job at the retreat.
He did. Shout out to Pastor Carlos. I can't wait to have him on. But again, you touched on it too. It's your own journey, and it's gotta be that moment for you. Right? No one else can help you with it. But going to it, oh man, I lost my train of thought. But it's just kind of like, yeah, it's just a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy concept, and I'm just glad to finally be able to talk about it with other people and stuff like that, you know.
And that's all you can do. That's the beautiful thing about like other people, because I mean, you talk to them, you get their perspectives, and especially people like myself or Carlos or Gilbert, just people that gave their life to Christ. Yeah, you can get their perspective, and I think it's great to have those conversations. But it's also great that, you know, hopefully, and I can't speak for the rest of those guys, but I'm sure they are doing it. It's just like they tell you about the word, God's word, but I don't really know if they are, but I do after talking to them. I'm sure they're not like forcing it down your throat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, which is a good thing. So you should have your own breakout moment where you're like crying out to God.
Yes, exactly. I love that. I kind of remember what I was going to say now. I think one thing, you know, that I learned a lot too is how important community is. Oh, yeah. You know, with you know, when it comes to the religion and the worship, that's one thing. But this is what Pastor Carlos said. Like, I think just having human moments are so huge. And especially after this whole COVID quarantine that we went through, man, I was in the house for like, you know, X amount of months, and we were all working from home. It was driving me nuts, Jeff. And I think it was almost like God's work that, you know, Gilbert, you know, came up to me at work, was like, hey, come to us for this retreat. And because I remember being stuck in the house, I'm like, oh, God, what am I gonna do? Like, I need people to talk to or something. So doing a retreat and then meeting all these new people, friends, people that I can call family now. And then meeting Pastor Carlos and seeing how important community is, it just in my heart, I was like, this is awesome. You know, it was just so cool, dude. And having conversation, like talking to people, clears the mind so much, dude. Really it's really crazy. Really, and then especially topics like these, and just being able to open up with people, I think, you know, and sure. Then that the whole crew is just, you know, always welcoming and stuff. I think it's also just the fact that they're a lot Filipinos. It's really just a very welcoming cultures too and stuff like that. But just I like the aspect of, let's just have human moments, man, and just be able to talk to each other, and let's laugh, you know, let's just love, you know, yeah, peace, bro, yeah.
And to kind of add to that, like about the community, in the scriptures talk about a friend sharpens a friend, so iron sharpens iron. Yeah. So it just talks about how, you know, you gotta have encouraging, loving people around your life, because they're gonna build you up, man. And and I love community. I got some people at home that I just call brothers and sisters, because it's important to have that, because people, I mean we're here all together on this earth for a reason. Yeah, I think so. So like, to be around people that are going to build you up is so important. It's so important.
And then, you know, just hanging out with people all day and having those moments again, and then it goes back to self-reflection. One thing I like to do, you know, after this, or, you know, after the little church party we're going to, I like to, again, come home and just be like, that was cool. Yeah, I had a good time today. Like, that was awesome, you know. Jeff came over, we did a podcast, hung out with the gang, you know, dance and stuff like that. I like to just, you know, be that moment and then really take that all in, man. Yeah.
And that's what I love also, again, about Good Shepherd Baptist Church is, like, we will do these things, these events, we'll hang out, have a good time, and then, you know, on the side we'll have like a very meaningful, powerful conversation. And that's what keeps bringing me out here. And I'm sure the gang's gonna see this, but like, just the love. Like, I'm like family when I come here, man. It's like, we come here, we have fun, we eat, because that's usually what we do. We're gonna eat.
Exactly.
I know the past 4 or 5 years, Filipino culture, you guys love to eat, and I love that because I love to eat too. So just to eat, talk, hang out, and then we like have some fun, man. It's just such a blessing to be here. And,
yeah, dude. It's powerful stuff, man.
4.5 hours. If it was 5 or 6, I'll still probably do it. Like,
right. Yeah. God bless your heart, man. Yeah. God bless your heart.
Guys, I don't know if anybody's struggling that's watching this at all, but please just like, whether you're white, brown, mixed, whatever you are, just learn to love people. Because to be here with Ethan, who's Filipino, and I'm a black male.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to hear this guy's story and just have an open heart.
Have an open heart. No, you know what? Yeah.
Open heart.
To touch on the race thing a bit again, like I hate that there's so much hate out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For again, you know what? It's this stupid and just this simple of a thing. Yeah. People don't like the color of your skin or your religion or race. I don't fucking get it, man. Yeah. I just don't understand it. And it just closes so many doors for you to learn about other people. And if anyone hearing this that has a little hate in their heart, like we can fix that a little bit, open it up a bit. You can learn so much from others who are different from you. If anything, we can learn so much more from people who are different from us. What's your background? What's your ethnicity? What do you have in you?
I think I honestly don't know. I don't do that much.
Ancestry.com. We'll put your spit in the tube. Yeah.
But I mean, I just know black male. I think my parents got some African or something. I don't know, to be honest with you. I got some white in me.
Okay.
I just want to be. My biggest thing is you should want to be offended. All right, and I'm gonna explain why. So I was working at Verizon, and then Colonial Heights used to be called Colonial Whites. So I had a black gentleman who come up to me. He was like, "Oh, well, this Colonial Whites, all white people want to do this," and I got offended because my best friend, I call a brother, is Jew, and he's a white male. So I was like, first of all, I'm gonna need you to stop. Like, first of all, that's you wouldn't want nobody to talk about you, so you shouldn't do that. Because I got offended. Like, you talk about my brother, so it's one of those things where get offended.
Yeah. Like, let them know, especially if you can read that energy off the person that they're being very disgusting about it. I don't think I've ever really encountered that type of moment, like a real moment like that, to be honest with you. But again, well, after that, actually go back to your experience. So, like, what happened afterwards when you kind of called him out?
I kind of just told the dude off, and I didn't care about the sale at the time, because that's my boy, and I kind of just like, well, nah, I'm gonna need you to not say that. That's not cool at all. And then he kind of shut it down, which was good. Yeah. And actually, I take it back. I did finish the sale because he toned it out. But if he would have kept going, I would have been like, nope, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I just want people to.
Hopefully, he learned his lesson from that too.
Hopefully, he learned his lesson.
I think that's a good point. It's like be offended because I think it can teach a lesson to somebody.
Exactly.
But again, it's the topic that I still don't understand, man. That I still can't it doesn't work in my brain how there can be that much hate in someone's heart.
Exactly.
I just don't get it. Even when I was little, like I never thought, again, maybe it's part of how someone is raised, but I guess I just lived in a household where my parents were just like, yeah, that's a human. Yeah, talk to him. That's it.
Good. That's
it, man. Yeah. And like when I was in elementary school, kindergarten, middle school, not one moment where I was like, that person is different from me. Why would I talk to them? No, like I was seeing everyone the same, man.
If anything, you were more welcome because that's how I was as a kid. Like, even going to high school, man, I had friends that played football. I had friends that was nerds, quote.
Yeah.
I just had friends that were. It doesn't matter.
Different kinds. Yeah, different kinds. I love that too. The fact that I'm sure your personality brought that in too. Like for me in high school, like dude, I had friends that super athletic. Or, were super quiet. I vibed with everyone, man. Exactly. Like, everyone was cool with me, even if it was like, I would say, like, I was pretty popular. I was known, but there was also another version of popular, the athletic kids. But I think I was more towards the theater side, people knew me through that. And even those athletic kids, will be dabbing each other up, like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I was like, hey, how you doing? And I think what helped me out, too, this is kind of a side note, but it's also like, I think what helped me out a little bit was growing up in a public school because it was very diverse, going to public, at least in this area that I'm in, because public schools can be different in other places, but growing up here in Newark, Delaware, Gallagher, Shoe, and then Christiana, elementary, middle school, and high school, I was exposed to just different diversities, man, and I think that just helped me out, growing up. It was just kind of like, yeah, that's just a human thing. We're all just people. Why would I not? And then the older you get, you see, you know, media just, you know, feeds you all this toxic shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then not only that, but you see it in person sometimes too. You know, just hate, man. And that's where it hits you. Like, man, people are really racist. Like, what the fuck is this?
It's bad.
It's disgusting.
It's everywhere. Like either the news, media, or even Hollywood.
Hollywood, man.
Especially for like black actors, they always got to be a criminal or a gangster or something like that, and it's crazy. Yeah. And then people, they watch that stuff, so you kind of, whatever you feed into is what you become. So some of that stuff kind of aids in some of the things there. Either they were raised like racist parents, like, oh, well, don't hang out with him. Yeah. And then they watch it on these movies and on the news and stuff. It's just crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, why hate people when people are so unique and
so
unique?
Awesome. It's so cool to be able to talk to people, man. Exactly. Yeah, like, what is that? And I make jokes about like I'll be in last time I was in a pretty long car ride with Gilbert, Lara, and our friend Nicole, and we were driving to Cape May, and I remember I was making this joke, but I was also kind of serious about it. Like, I like to make these little comments. I'm in the car, I'm looking at these other people driving by, you know, like going the opposite way or driving next to us, and I looked at Gilbert. I'm like, man, what's the story, man? Like, this guy's a blip on the radar. We're looking at him. He's going to go his separate way. I'm never going to see this guy again. But what's his story? And part of me is like trying to make a fun conversation out of it in the car, but also like there's something deeper there. I feel like, you know, when you see someone, man, there's a story there. Like, they have family members. They have a background. What is this, man? And there'll be older people out there. Like, for me, elderly people fascinate me because part of me is like, they have a whole life, bro. They experience. I wish I could just sit down with I don't know, pull someone in and be like, hey, what's your life like, man? Like, what did you go through? You know, what are your challenges? Yeah, man. But everyone has a story, dude. You know?
Yeah. And that's one kind of talk back about like what I said to Gilbert at the retreat. I was like, man, it's cool because you and JC was having a conversation at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, where there's people that's like the entertainment type of area. There's some people here that want to be pastors, and it's just like so cool. That's why I wish that retreat was like longer. I really did.
Yeah, man.
I really wish it was longer, just so I can get to know more people.
Get to know more.
Yeah, and it was just so cool. I'm like, don't matter what they look like, because you know, you all guys are Filipino. It's like, you guys got a story to tell, and it was so cool. And I was getting excited. Like, I feel that rush. I'm like, this is so awesome.
Yeah, dude. It's like a high a little bit.
Yeah.
Because one thing I like a lot is like kind of asking you want to get into, you know, youth pastor stuff or business. I love it when I hear someone hear that what do they want to do. I think it's so cool that, listen, I want to get into like acting, entertainment, and film. You know, that's my thing. But when I hear someone like, you know, Cam and Guido, who wants to, you know, get into, you know, the doctor world, you know, healthcare, I just get this happy feeling like he found his thing. That's great. Yeah. I would never want to be a doctor. I'm not going through those school years, you know, but to see someone be happy and follow through with what they're doing, I think is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. I'm more happy for them than, you know, just kind of, I'm just like, ooh, yes, like succeed, dude, succeed. Yeah.
It's crazy that we click and vibe like that, because I think the same way. So that's why when I was hearing you guys' story, I was kind of like, oh, snap, okay. I hope you get that, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a rush.
Cool. Yeah, it is a rush, man. It's kind of cool to hear, like, and then when you hear people say things, you can kind of get an idea of their personality.
Exactly.
So if you hear somebody say, oh, I want to be a doctor, that means that person really cares about people and loves people.
Yes.
So it's so cool to hear people's story.
It's cool, man. Yeah. Again, everyone embrace other races, embrace other cultures.
Love people.
Racism is so dumb, dog.
It's so dumb.
If we can get any message out today with this episode, especially with all the religious talk that we had, like, again, embrace other races, embrace other cultures, learn about each other. Yeah. Stop with the hate, you know? It's stupid. One thing I love to tell people is, like, it's as dumb as opening a Crayola box, throwing out the orange one because you don't like that. Like, I think, to me, it's that simple and that dumb of a thing. It's just like, you don't like them because, like, the fact that we went, like, when you read these history books and stuff, the fact that we went through so many years of, like, you know, all that segregation and stuff, like, oh my God.
Yeah. And that was funny because I was actually just talking to Alan, my friend who I brought up here. Well, he's really not my blood brother, but he's a brother.
Sure.
That's facts.
Yeah.
And I was saying to him, like, there was a point in history where an interracial relationship was actually illegal.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you're gonna say it's illegal to love a different race? And I'm just like,
yeah,
ain't that crazy?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. People just love who you want to love, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Love who you want to love.
It's crazy.
Oh, man. So crazy. Yeah, but that's, just we're throwing that positive energy to you guys. Either if you're listening on the car ride or YouTube, channel that energy.
Whatever you're listening to, just love people.
Love people. But
and you'd be so mind blown on somebody that looks different from you. You'll hear a very crazy story.
Or you'll be shocked how much you have in common with that person that you supposedly hate or whatever. You know, you can be like, wait a second, what? Yeah, because they're human too. Like, what the heck, man? I can't stand it, man. Oh, jeez. All right, everybody. Well, again, thanks for tuning in to really, I think, a pretty solid episode. This was a great conversation I had with Jeff today. Hopefully, you guys, you enjoyed what we talked about. Hopefully, you learned something. Hopefully, you gained something out of this. Remember, everybody, the channel is Ethan Hahn Productions. That's the YouTube channel. The video version will be posted on there. Audio on Anchor.fm, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Check me out on the audio versions. That's where the moolah comes in. So go ahead and give me a listen on your car ride to work, on your car ride to the mall, on your car ride to Kmart. That place is closed, but we're going to say Kmart. On your car ride to the bathroom. If you're walking to the bathroom, tune me in on the audio. I have so many episodes. I don't even know what number this is by the time I'm recording it. We have so many going out, so much good content. On the channel, there's vlogs. Check out the vlogs. I'm grinding on the vlogs as well. We have a lot coming out. Short films are coming out. SWAT Godfather, the fourth SWAT, will be dropping, and there is a role for Jeff Lee in there. We're getting as many people in there as possible. So, Jeff, if you want to be a movie star, come on down for SWAT Godfather. Yeah, I'll send you the script.
Talk about that.
We'll talk about that. We'll give him a funny role or something. Yeah, but again, on the channel, vlogs, short films, and the podcast video version will be on there. And check me out on the audio versions on those ones that I listed. My Instagram is Han_Aguilar, and you will see all the promotions on there for my vlogs and all my content that I create, and you will see some fun photos of me hanging out with peeps. And check out my stories on Instagram. I'm a funny dude. I like to post things. I post things when I'm in the house bored. Follow me on Snapchat, Swagular25. That's right, Swagular25. It was made in middle school, and that was my nickname, Swagular. Wow, how cool is that? And if you want to give me a poke on Facebook, I'm on Facebook. Go ahead and poke me. I do truth is TBHs and rates. I don't really do that. It's just that was a middle school thing, wasn't it? Yep. But yeah, that's all me, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Real quick, Jeff, before we go, anything to plug? Anything you want to tell the people?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's Faith Changed Me, all one word. And then I think my Snapchat is JTL2. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll just go on my Instagram.
If anything, just text it to me because I'll fix the text on here. Yeah,
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it.
That's it. All right, Jeff. Again, before we head out, thank you again for making the drive, man. Yeah, but we're gonna have
worth it.
Again, I'm so glad you came down from Virginia. He broke records. Let's see who can break this record. Who can drive the longest to get on this podcast? All right. I don't know. Whoever. Yeah. Again, let's break some records here, people. But right now, I should make a plaque for you. We'll put your plaque name up there and then go from there.
And then send me one.
I'll send you one. I'll send you one, man. Yeah. But again, thanks for coming, man. Me and him are gonna head to a party right after this, and we're gonna have a fun time, a good wholesome time with the gang, man, and we'll let them know how this podcast went. But yeah, everybody, that has been the episode for you. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Ethan Hahn plus
Jeff Lee, and that's me.
Oh, there we go. All right, yeah.
That